A nation, like a person, is judged by the company it keeps, and in this case, the companies it keeps handing taxpayers money to. I also tend to count my worth by the list of my enemies, and if I make one a Palantir today, then I can count this as a good day's work. So, to be clear, the government's engagement with Palantir is shameful. Peter Thiel, the founder of Palantir, is a dangerous extremist who has called the Nazi Carl Schmitt a major influence on his thinking. He has allowed Palantir to provide sensitive data to Donald Trump's far-right thugs in ICE to add power to their cruel elbow as it comes crashing down on communities. Peter Thiel hates our values and hates the very principle of our NHS itself. He once told the Oxford Students' Union that our love for the NHS is a form of Stockholm Syndrome. Palantir and Peter Thiel must have their hands ripped off of our NHS before it is too late. We cannot stand idly by and let the NHS be rescued from years of Conservative neglect just to have critical functions and funding handed to the far-right US tech billionaire. The interweaving of Palantir's opaque software with the framework of the NHS would make us dangerously dependent on and vulnerable to the whims of his strange organisation. This Labour government has had 2 years to signal their intention to end their partnership with Palantir, but have failed to do so. So, can I ask the Minister, firstly, are the government investigating ongoing reports of unethical lobbying efforts within the NHS and shady public relations by Palantir? For instance, we've seen allegations that the joint chair of North West London's 4 major hospital trusts was privately urging colleagues to add more patient data into the platform at the same time as advising Palantir through Global Counsel. Secondly, have the government taken any steps to make sure that the security and integrity of NHS data systems are ironclad in the event of any rogue actions not just by Palantir, but by any third-party contractor? At that point, simple litigation for breach of contract will be moot. The damage will have been done. The government shouldn't need to do this. They should just wind down the contract. But at the very least, they ought to tell my constituents who've written to me on this topic whether or not their concerns raised in this debate are falling on deaf ears or not.